Thank you, Nisha, and thank you for the comments from the fellow panelists. First of all, law is a very complicated subject, and particularly in a diverse and large country, democracy like ours, it is critical not only to provide justice but also to ensure that there is a feeling among the people that the justice was served. It's not just provision of justice as it matters in technical terms. So carrying out such a burden and delivering justice to millions of people is no easy undertaking. So the higher judiciary in India is progressively dealing with exceedingly complicated issues in various spheres like law, economics, environment, technology, intellectual property, competition, privacy, trade, and several other sectors. Furthermore, we also have a widely held social notion that there is a lot of corruption in the country. As a result, there is a lot of obligation for providing justice and creating a sense of fairness. And this obligation relies heavily on the judiciary. So now, in this kind of circumstances, given the kind of pressure that the judiciary has, there is also a widespread belief that the judiciary plays it safe by ignoring the economic repercussions of decisions, and that is actually quite clearly, captured in this wonderful report by Pradeep Mehta and his team for NITI. And this, has a lot of repercussions, and repercussions not only entail risk in terms of reducing a lot of jobs, large number of jobs, and potential job creation, and also a substantial quantity of current and potential investment. Even the subject that I deal with predominantly, which is international trade and international investments, trade agreements, and so on. This is an important issue. Many countries are looking for investment protection and so on. So this has a ripple effect across the economy, and like most of the difficult things that happen at a macro level, the poor bear the brunt of the burden mostly. So even in 2021, an assessment by MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, according to a study done by them, around 483 infrastructure projects over rupees 150 crore or more, each of them having a ticket size of that, face cost overruns, and 504 actually face delays. So the total initial cost of implementation of the around 2,000, I think, 1,781 projects to be precise, was about 2.2 lakh crores, and no, actually 22 lakh crores, actually 2.2 million crores, and their expected completion cost is expected to be 27 lakh crores. So it is like almost 5 lakh crores worth of cost overrun, which is actually around 20%, 19.4% of the original cost. So this actually comes from a report from MOSPI in July last year. So to put things in perspective, this 4.43 lakh crore is equivalent to the defense budget expenditure for India for this fiscal year. It's almost the same. The principal causes of such delays are legal obstacles deriving from land acquisition and forest and environmental clearances and so on. So there are many examples, and Pradeep talked about a few of them. So I don't want to get into all these specific details, but broadly there is a widespread anxiety apart from these delays among the executive against the three Cs, as we call them, courts, CBA, and CBC. So the decisions made in good faith for the greater welfare of the public may actually land sometimes capable officers in legal quagmires and demoralize the administration. So this leads to a lot of important activities that have to be carried out getting stuck. Mining is a good example there. We have a lot of examples there in Goa and many other states. So, and also there are also some cases in the recreation industry, hotel industry, banking sector, and so on. So, however, we should also note that we are not talking about a trade-off between justice and growth. So this is not an argument about justice versus growth. Without a doubt, significant public wrongdoings like bribery and long-standing corrupt practices, all these things do harm the rule of law. We really have to look into them. Citizens' faith and trust in institutions are based on treating the public officials the same as everyone else in the eyes of the law. However, the key precedent that should be applied as a long-term roadmap and framework is a case between Shiv Shakti Sugars Limited and Sri Renuka Sagar Limited. In this particular case, the court observed that the economic impact and effect of a decision should be kept in mind, and critically, the court needed to avoid, in very specific terms, a particular outcome which has a potential to create an adverse effect on employment, growth of infrastructure or economy or revenue of the state. So therefore, I think the courts may be asked to interfere in two areas that demand more thought. The first thing is external expertise, because a lot of these details involving economic and commercial implications and so on, they are out of the they're beyond the expertise of legal professionals and the court. So that has to be there, and you also have to have an evaluation process and a macro perspective, because on every specific case you have different conflicting viewpoints. What is good for one may be bad for another. So here we need a macro perspective also. So first, we have to provide confidence through economic judgments, as well as addressing the economic ramifications of specific judgments while keeping the other concerns in mind, such as the environment and related areas, what we call in economics as externalities. So they have to be internalized. Second, to accept previously upheld and cleared valid choices made by the government employees. So this also has to be there. So now I think we must reflect on the judicialization of the economy, as we can call it, and its impact on a variety of macroeconomic parameters, including GDP growth, industrial value added, joblessness or unemployment and employment generation, rising gross non-performing assets, current account deficit, and also the long-term viability of businesses that make large sunk cost investments, and even more importantly, the investments that we want to draw from the other countries through this wide range of trade and investment agreements that we are planning to sign with many countries. So for all these things, we need we need to consider the link between justice and growth. So basically, the ultimate question is: can justice be blind to present economic imperatives, or is economically responsible justice, after all, true? So with that I get to initially. Thank you.